and that was this notion that you can I can't even remember, you can retell the story of your life or something like that. There's an idea that I'm very much connected to about reauthoring the stories of our lives that's very specific and concrete, and it's not sort of this lame kind of retell the story of your life and everything will be okay. Because ultimately, that's a setup. Because if you could just retell the story of your life and everything would be okay, people would have done that by now. But in the work that I do in the context of narrative therapy, we've come up with some very specific ways about exactly how to do that. That do not leave you sort of in this place of, well, exactly what do you mean by that? And I'm going to tell a little quick story about the power of language, just to sort of illuminate exactly what I'm talking about. And then I'll probably go into this further as we go down the road. But I learned this when we were homeschool parents, and we started meeting other homeschool parents and finding out about how they taught their kids. And there was this very crucial sort of pivotal moment for me when somebody talked to me about the difference between saying, this is, well, that's not a good one. Sort of, I'll just do this. Saying this is blue as opposed to saying this is what we call blue. Because when some, I don't know, maybe you just realized the difference between those two. But when we say this is what we call blue, we're positioning ourselves in a completely different way in relation to those labels. To say that this is not something that is definitively called blue, that somehow this name came from some source that makes it absolute and true. To say this is blue, but once we transform that to oh, now this is a thing that has some kind of malleability, it has some flexibility, it has some there's something about how I'm participating in this process that changes what that is. And it is kind of recapturing the strength of that participatory process. Reclaiming our descriptive agency is what I talk about in the context of sort of these stories that we tell about who we are, and realizing that those also did not come from some source, but ultimately they are things that are changeable and malleable too. So think about that for a bit, and how often you go around saying that's a that, and this is a this, and that's a that, when in fact if you just change that language a little bit and say that's what I call, you're putting yourself in a position of saying, well, maybe I'll call it something else. And so I'll talk about that more tomorrow, but that's it for today. Hope everybody's having a great day, and thanks everyone for tuning in. I'll talk to you tomorrow on What's Next